Okay, let's look at some aspects of setting up our drawing for 3D work. Okay, so the first thing we would normally do when we're doing our 3D work is we would set up a few viewports. So on our ribbon here, if we go to View and to Viewport Configuration, we click Viewport Configuration, we'll get a few options here. I generally find 3 aligned to the left is where I find the most effective. So that's what we have here. So we've got a plan view and 2 3D views. Well, typically that's what I find to be the most useful way to set up things. So then in terms of how we look at the view, we can change what's called our view style. So this is our area for our visual style controls, and we can set our view style typically hidden, or 2D wireframe is usually a good choice. So with 2D wireframe, for example, with this tenon and mortise joint here, I can see the slot in the timber in the 2D wireframe. So that slot is just there. Okay, so if I change that to hidden, that slot disappears. Okay, so then in terms of our views, we should generally try to make our views parallel. I'll just show that there. Sorry, we've got this little it's kind of like an inverted eject button, and when we show that, we can either get a parallel or a perspective view. Generally when we're drafting, we want a parallel view. Okay, and then this drop down here is for the world coordinate system. So when we're in the plan view, we're always in the world coordinate system. And then to change our view of the item, we can use this, which is called the view cube. This is rather confusingly, it's always related to the world coordinate system you're in. So for example, if I'm in the world coordinate system, my top and my back and my right and left will be different to an alternative UCS. Okay, so to spin things around, if I want to have a sort of an axonometric view, I just click on a corner, and I can click on this corner and I'll get the alternative axonometric view. If I click at this back corner here, I'll get the rear axonometric view, etc. And I can view from the underside as well. So these are all important ways that we can navigate around the view. And just to click into a viewport, all we have to do is click. The good thing about the viewports is when I'm in a command, I can change viewports. So this is very useful if I want to create a precise drawing. Okay, I'm just going to try to click up here in this corner. There we go. Okay, so the next thing we'll look at is we can also rotate our view. There are little arrows here, so we can rotate around. So that can also be useful if we want to view a different part of the drawing as we rotate around. So generally for the 3D views, I find it's best to have shades of grey on. Shades of grey with edges. That gives me a more sort of a 3-dimensional view of the actual objects. Typically I find with the 2D wireframe, particularly on complicated drawings, it can be very confusing to understand, you know, what edge I'm looking at. So the shaded or shaded with edges tend to be the best, or shades of grey. Shades of grey I think is one of the better ones.